Let us look at the formal definition of a function. A function f is a rule that assigns to each element x in a set A exactly one element called fx in a set B. In simple terms, a function is a special type of relation between two variables. That was really confusing. Let us understand the concept of a function via this image. In this image, we can see that each element in set A has special relation with the corresponding element in set B. Basically, each element of y in set B is the square of the element in set A. Now, I have drawn a funnel for you to understand what is actually a function. If you input the value x equals to 3 and follow the rule, which is the function which is equal to x square, you get an output y is equal to 9. This is a simple graphical representation of a function. There are two variables, height and age, represented on the y-axis and the x-axis respectively. As the age of an individual increases, we observe that the height of the individual also increases. So we can say that height is a function of age. Few other examples of function are: the area of a circle is the function of its radius. The demand for the commodity is the function of its price.
This is Dr. Surendra Meg.
We all know that demand for a commodity and its price are negatively related and supply is positively related to price. Alfred Marshall compared the demand and supply with the two blades of a scissor, in that it is quite difficult to determine whether it is the lower blade or the upper blade of the scissor that cuts the piece of a paper. In a similar manner, it is quite difficult to determine whether demand or supply that determines the equilibrium price. In the labor market, supply of labor is the availability of labor at a given time and is positively related to wage rate. On the other hand, employers demand labor and prepare to employ more when the wage rate is lower. Thus, equilibrium wage rate is determined in the labor market through the intersection of demand and supply curve of labor.
Have you ever heard of the term utility? If not, then I am here to help you. In simple words, the word utility means satisfaction. It is a want-satisfying power of a commodity. For example, after watching a Netflix series, the satisfaction that you receive is utility. Or after winning a PUBG match, the chicken dinner that you receive gives you a utility. There are two broad utility theories. First one is cardinal utility theory and the second one is ordinal utility theory. Cardinal utility theory was proposed by neoclassical economists. They used the concept of cardinal numbers like 1, 2, 3. According to them, the utility can be measured and added. Whereas the ordinal utility theory was proposed by modern economists like Hicks and Allen. According to them, utility cannot be measured objectively and cannot be added. It can be ranked according to preferences or choices.
The first assumption is an individual acts as a rational customer. He tries to maximize the level of satisfaction with a given level of income. The unit of measurement, which is money in this regard, should be constant. If it is not constant, the measuring rod for utility will be elastic and which will not be acceptable for measurement. The next assumption is diminishing marginal utility. The utility gained from the successive units of the commodity keeps on decreasing as the consumer acquires more and more of the commodity. The last assumption is total utility is additive. That is, the total utility of the basket of goods depends on the quantity of individual's commodity.
name is Nisha Singh. The topic that I am going to discuss is the law of diminishing marginal utility, which says as the consumption of any good or service increases, the marginal utility derived with each additional unit declines. Let us understand this with an example. Here in this figure, where x-axis is representing number of COVID cases and y representing fear of infection among the people or the satisfaction that they are getting by staying at their home. So initially, during the month of March, when the daily number of cases were 87, the total fear among the people was increasing. Though it was increasing, but it was increasing at a diminishing rate, which can be seen with this marginal fear curve which slopes downward. After exactly 5 months, when the daily number of cases was 75,000, the total fear among the people now has started declining. The rate of this decline has now turned negative. So we can see here, as the number of cases are increasing, the total fear among the people is declining and they are getting less satisfaction by staying at their home.